All right, I'm here with Ezekiel Bentley, about to make his mixed martial arts debut. Ezekiel, you come from a background in martial arts. Let's talk a little bit about your prior training and what are you feeling like leading up to your mixed martial arts debut?
I've been training my whole life pretty much. My dad did Hapkido and Taekwondo and Ishinru throughout his entire life pretty much. And then as soon as I was big enough to be doing stuff, I was moving around with him. I started doing karate at an actual dojo when I was 11 with Kevin Foran out in Clio, Michigan. And it was good. I've always enjoyed it. I've done a little bit of kung fu, a little bit of Shotokan, Tai Bong Sudo, Tung Sudo, and I've always had a passion for it. Always enjoyed it, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm a world champion in Tung Sudo sparring, European champion, and the Michigan champion. So I've been doing it for a while. As far as the debut goes, I'm real excited to get out there and try something new. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I've been literally dreaming about this for a while now. Ever since I got the fight offer, I've been dreaming about getting in there and getting the fight. I'm pretty psyched. Pretty psyched.
So, what led you to mixed martial arts? Because it sounds like you come from an extremely traditional martial arts background, and some people stay in that their entire lives and they compete in the traditional forms, and they pursue those avenues. But some people choose to make the jump over to this modern mixed martial arts, step up into a cage and compete. What drew you to mixed martial arts? And just talk about that transition to mixed martial arts, and then leading up to the mixed martial arts debut. Does it just feel like another competition for you then, or is it a lot different?
It's definitely not just another competition, but I've been competing for a long time and I'm pretty well used to it. I'm not super nervous. I'm mainly excited about it. There were a little bit of nerves when I first got the offer. I watched the guys fight, so I'm pretty psyched to get in there with him. I've been, again, literally dreaming about this fight since we got the offer. Pretty stoked. Making the transition from traditional martial arts to MMA started with Tim Estruth in Flint. First jiu-jitsu coach. He's extremely good. The man's an absolute lunatic. It's like having the Tasmanian devil on top of you. But it was just, I wanted to try something new, round out my game a little bit. I found jiu-jitsu, and it was hard. I wasn't good at it naturally, and I loved that. It gave me something to actually strive for because karate hasn't been all that much of a struggle for the past few years. I've gotten to a point where I feel like I'm sort of plateauing with it, and I wanted something I could pursue that would be difficult and frankly that would hurt a little bit.
Well, that's awesome, man. That shows that you have a fighting spirit. I mean, because a lot of people that come from a certain martial arts background or any specialty, they get into a new world and all of a sudden they're knocked back down to the beginner level, go like, wait a second, I don't know if this is for me. But you're the type of person that's like, ooh, this is a new challenge to conquer. This is something that I want to get through. So let's talk a little bit about your opponent. Let's talk a little bit about the debut, go over the date, where's your fight at, just all the information surrounding your mixed martial arts debut.
Yeah, Elijah Woodruff. He's got 3 fights under his belt. He's 1-2. He looks like he's got a solid wrestling base and a Muay Thai stand-up style. He's not bad. I've watched him. He can throw a pretty good punch. He's pretty solid. I'm excited to get in there with him. It's going to be November 6th in Dayton, Ohio. I think 7 p.m. And you can get the tickets at, I believe, b2fs.com. And I think that's all I've got on that.
Yeah, and there's a pay-per-view available. That way, if people are not going to the actual event, they can still watch online. They can put your name in the notes section and give you credit for the pay-per-view buy, but then they'll be able to watch from their homes.
Yep.
Let's talk about how you made the transition over to SFS too, because Tim Estruth is actually a longtime student here. He joined our team probably about 7 years ago. He was one of the top amateurs in the state, but he was like kind of dominating the area that he was in. He made the transition to our school, started to level up his game. How did you first hear of SFS, or how did you find of SFS, or what made you make the transition that now you're sitting, repping the elite uniform?
So I met Tim through Taekwondo associates that I knew up in not the Midland area, out in Caro, all over the place. They've got schools everywhere. Mark Kanar, very talented martial artist. And I went to one jiu-jitsu seminar and I was like a fish out of water. It was bad, no idea what I'm doing. And Tim was there And I got to know him through all those associates. And when I decided I wanted to pursue something a little bit different, I found out he was teaching in Flint. I live in Flint. It was perfect. I tried to chase him down. It took me about 3 months because every time I had a Saturday or a Sunday that I was free to get out there and train, he was at a tournament somewhere just murdering people because that's what he likes to do. But I finally tracked him down, finally started showing up, and I did it about once a week for about a year and a half, which is not the best way to get good at something. But I made a little bit of progress here and there, and I finally decided I really wanted to commit to it. I wanted to move into MMA, and I talked to him, and it sounded like he found the best place around, and that's where he started going. And I was like, all right, that's where I'm going, and here we are.
So leading up to this debut, what is your family feeling like? You know, because your family's seen you compete in traditional martial arts for a long time. You know, obviously your father was the inspiration for you to start training. You know, are they excited about you making your mixed martial arts debut, getting into the cage? Are they a little nervous? Just talk about your family's feelings surrounding this event.
So my dad went a little nuts when he found out. He bought a bunch of ringside tickets. I don't know how much money he spent on this, but he bought a bunch of ringside tickets, and everybody he knows is trying to go to it. I shared it on Facebook. I've got people I didn't even know I was related to are sharing it and trying to come to the event. I did not know how excited my entire family was going to be. My wife is pretty excited about it. I don't think she's quite as insane as my dad is, but she's excited. The only person I've gotten any pushback from is actually my wife's grandmother, who thinks I'm going to die. She saw the picture of the two of us and the poster that B2 put out, and she's like, he's bigger than you. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get injured. I'm like, it's all right there, Mama. I think I'm gonna be okay. She's like, okay, if you say so. And she brings it up every time I see her now. So
That is awesome. I love the fact that Grandma looked at a poster, said, you know what? I think that gentleman's bigger than you, and that must be the equation for success. Shout out to Grandma. So is your mom and dad making, I mean, it sounds like your dad's definitely making the trip down. Your mom and dad are both going to be ringside, and your wife's going to be ringside when you compete?
Yep. Mom, dad, wife, they're all going to be there. My wife's family is trying to come. My sister has her own competition. She's doing powerlifting that same day, which I mixed the dates up, which is unfortunate because this is one of her first powerlifting events. She won't be able to be there most likely, but we're kind of competing together separately is the way that we're viewing this. But pretty much the whole family is supporting and trying to be there if they can.
That's awesome, man. You and the sister bring home W's on the same day, different sports, different locations, but it's that fighting spirit that obviously, you know, is just runs in your family. So man, just anything else you'd like to shout on the video? Any people that you want to thank? You know, go over the dates and the information one more time for the people that are gonna, you know, either make the trip down or watch on the pay-per-view, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I'd love to thank all of my coaches from my entire life have helped build me to the point that I am, from my dad, obviously, who's been a coach till present day. I mean, he's still helping to coach me. I had Kevin, my first, sensei, which he passed recently. That's been a tough one, but he was an excellent man, an amazing martial artist, a great teacher. It was great having his influence. I've got Jerry and Jeremy Dollinger in Flushing. That's where I train my karate now. I've got Paul Muself, who I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Paul. I'm sorry. I trained Shotokan with for a while. I learned stuff from him. My friends J1 and Ken, I learned Kung Fu from them when I was a kid. I've just been all over the place. They've all been very helpful. I've got the Kanar entire group that Kanar has out in mid-Michigan. Tim Estruth, obviously, been a huge help for me. I'm doing privates with Dante now. All of my training partners here. Joe Hannon and Sierra especially, but going through everybody that I train with here, it's been very helpful.
Well, man, it sounds like you're a sponge of the martial arts and you've had phenomenal influence. You're able to soak up information your entire life, which makes me incredibly excited to see your mixed martial arts debut. I recently got to watch you compete in the first jiu-jitsu tournament for me to see, and man, you were fantastic out there. And one thing that I remember that was really, really made a strong impression on me was how coachable you were. Like during the match, I'd be like, Ezekiel, this, bang, you hit it. Ezekiel, that, bang, you hit it. And that is, as a coach, it's something that we really, really hope for. Because, during the chaos of your first fight, I'm just sitting in a chair on the outside witnessing an event, and I can get you information. So I'm super excited. I hope everybody else is excited. Share this video, support Ezekiel, and Dayton, Ohio, November 6th, mixed martial arts debut. Thank you for being here today.
Yes, sir.